future, like especially the NPC reward that we had. We're
Mm.
already discussing bringing that back around for the full game. So we think we'll be able to provide opportunities. Of course, the first who will be given that opportunity will more than likely be our backers. But we want to provide that opportunity to, people to be able to get back in on that as well sometime in the future. But yeah, we felt it was the right decision. And looking back on it, we're all incredibly glad we made that decision.
Awesome. Now, one thing I was thinking too as we're talking, if I can remember correctly, in the first episode, you mentioned that in terms of the full game, that would possibly be something you would use, like maybe a different platform to crowdfund as well. Is that still going to be the case now that you have this investor?
I think we're actually weighing a lot of things now. See, the plan is to release the demo, and just kind of when we release that to the public, it's part of it is like letting the internet do what we know the internet does.
Mm-hmm.
And then another part of it is also kind of making sure we have a plan laid out for different potential avenues in which the full game can come about. We could shop it around to distributors, which we plan to do, as far as, giving them the opportunity to, if they want to invest and make the full game. But we're also laying out a plan for, okay, if we want to do a plan B, if we do want to do another campaign, what does that look like? So, it's a little bit of a lot of different things. We're just kind of trying to make sure that we keep the foresight to make sure we're prepared should any situation come to fruition.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense too, where you're keeping your options open, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Because the crowdfunding experience was it was really interesting. It was really good. We learned a lot from it, but we also learned that it's not a necessity. It's just one of many ways that you can come about getting to your end result. So now that we've experienced that, there are multiple ways to get to the end result. We're exploring that in every step that we make, moving forward. So, we're basically just kind of like, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Let's just make the demo. Let's put it out, and then we'll see what happens. We'll go from there.
Awesome. And one thing before we start to close, too, that I'm curious about, now that you can build the demo as you intended, and you mentioned a few of these already, but what other plans do you have to keep your growing community and your future fans engaged until the demo is released, and then even beyond that?
Well, actually, that's where the voice actors come in. We're planning a series of we're planning some things now that we hope will be entertaining for the fans leading up to the demo. And they'll also work as opportunities for us to provide updates on the process of the demo and everything else. So yeah, we're getting things together now. We're definitely getting things together now for that.
Okay, so it sounds like you want to kind of keep it under the wraps a little bit, but understandably so. But I think it's super cool that like the one thing that you did call out to, and I think people can get a good idea on this, is like that's part of where the voice actors come in. So again, everyone, like, think back to how they incorporated the voice actors. At the main focus, I guess, is they needed voice actors. That's what they were planning on for this project. But it was a means to leverage a whole different community that they typically didn't have, and it got a lot of attention because they made it so open on that front, giving anyone out there an opportunity. And it as Mikhail said, it got a lot of spikes and attention and awareness in different areas. And now they tried that. That was clearly a strategy they used, and they saw how it worked. So now they're even planning it for the future. So think of what other kind of content they could probably put together with these voice actors that can make it not only more engaging for their team, because I'll count the voice actors now kind of as like other team members in a way, But it's going to make it more engaging for the rest of their new community, getting other fans and even prospective fans. So, and I'm sure they probably have other things that they're planning on doing too, but it just goes to show the path of how you can take other things of your project, and with this example being the voice actors, and applying it in a sense that's strategic and can be used as a marketing effort.
Exactly. Yeah. Think outside the box, you know?
Yeah.
I know it's cliche, but it's a great saying.
Awesome. Well, I love that you guys are doing that too. It's really creative, and it's one thing I always like try to preach to an extent too, is like, just think of everything that you have in your project and do whatever you can to chop it up and put it out there in a nutshell.
Exactly.
You know, so cool. But that one's really, really cool and interesting. So I'll be excited to see how that turns out and in that campaign specifically. All right. So we did kind of talk about this, but just, as we close, I'm just curious as to like, what are these general lessons that you have learned? Like the main thing is, what else do you think that, came out of this campaign that you didn't intend on?
I would probably, not to bring it back to the voice actors again, but I'd probably bring it back to them as well. As it was something we envisioned, but we really enacted it mid-campaign. We decided to do it. We made the decision mid-campaign. So we just, and seeing how that just all turned out and how it allowed us to be able to make the plans that we have now, it was just like this beautiful domino effect of just things kind of working out. And, I would say that's something that we didn't really expect, especially not this early on. But it's one of the decisions we are the most proud of making, because it just, we've seen the engagement from it. We've seen how much people responded to it. But yeah, I think as far as anything else that we didn't really intend on, I guess we just didn't really expect people to gravitate to it as quickly as they did. I mean, we knew what we had. I don't want to say we didn't expect it, because we knew what we had. We believe in what we're doing, but it's kind of like you do expect it, but when it happens, you're still blown away by it, you know? So it's one of those situations. So, but yeah, I think that's just seeing how everyone just automatically gravitated towards the idea, and there was just so much love behind the idea during the campaign when it really hit at that time, it was really mind-blowing, really mind-blowing. So but yeah, overall great experience.
Awesome. And based on that experience too, not just with a campaign in general, how would you say that's changed your outlook, or has it?
I guess the expected cons to the campaigns were probably more so reinforced during the campaign, which is fine, because we kind of knew that going into it. It hasn't really changed much of how we perceive the crowdfunding process, but it has changed how the outcome could potentially be, especially with finding an investor that, outside of the campaign, but it was kind of because of the campaign that the investor did it. So that experience changed how the outlook of how the dominoes can fall and how things can kind of lead to your benefit in ways you may not have planned or expected. So
expect the unexpected.
There we go. And too long didn't read. That's it.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. So, any like quick tips or suggestions you'd give people based off of, what we talked about today?
Just think creatively. Just creative problem solving. That's. I feel like a lot of this process in this campaign was a lot of quick on your feet, creative problem solving. And so yeah, I just be open to the expandability of your IP, and just be open to, the vision of what your IP could be. Don't limit your vision based on what resources you believe you have or what resources you think you may get. Plan for the full picture, plan the full vision, and so that when it's time, the people who are willing to invest into it can see the full vision and they'll invest into it because of that.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's perfect right there. Really, and it encapsulates everything. Just plan for that full vision. Because if you sell yourself short, you'll probably end up short in terms of your visions or where you want to be. All right, cool. Well, Mikhail, thank you so much for your time and everything else. Before we go, where can people find out more information about Serial Killahs? When the demo is going to be released, getting updates. Where can they go to get more info about all this, and or even to reach out to you if they have they wanted to get in contact?
Yeah, on Twitter at Killah Serial Game. You can also find us on, let me make sure that's right, actually, because I get the Twitter and the Instagram mixed up a lot. Yeah, okay, so Serial Killahs for Twitter is at Killah Serial, and you can follow us on Instagram as well, which is at Serial Killahs Game. Okay, cool. So you heard it there, folks. That's where you can go to get in touch with Mikhail or to find out more about Serial Killahs. So, Mikhail, again, thank you so much for everything and being here and really sharing this process and whatnot. We really appreciate it. No, thank you, man. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, take care.
You too.
Hey, everyone, and thank you for listening to another episode of Indie Game Movement. I'm Andrew Pappas, your host, and the show's producer is Mustafa Price. A special thanks to Taisuke Kimura for creating the show's theme and Donnie Wilson for the logo design. If you enjoy and value the content, you can support us by visiting our Patreon, which is patreon.com/IGM podcast, and select the tier that meets your needs. Show notes for this episode can be found by visiting rengenmarketing.com/the number of this episode. Rengen Marketing is a consulting marketing company that helps indie devs with their marketing efforts. So if you're looking for helpful marketing content or marketing plan template for your current game, then please visit rengenmarketing.com. And as always, thanks for being such great listeners, and we'll see you next time on Indie Game Movement.